Hello, HaHa Hordsters. This is your host, Marc Trinidad, here for another episode of the HaHa Horde House, a show where I talk to other comedians about their origin story into their world of stand-up comedy. I've always been fascinated by the roads that people take to get into the world of stand-up comedy. I know my journey. I know why I got into it. I know what motivated me. But there are so many different ways, but all the roads that lead to Rome, I want to know about those roads. So on this show, we talk to comedians and find out about their origin story. Now, for the people that are fans of the HaHa Horde House, you kind of know already that I'm a big fan of a company called Geeky Jerseys. And there's some news on that Geeky Jerseys front. I have been named a brand ambassador for Geeky Jerseys. No, they're not a sponsor of the show, but I just have apparently talked about them so much that they said, you know what? Let's hook you up with some jerseys before anybody else has the ability to get them. So on this week's show, I speak to Bryan Hatt, another comedian of 20 plus years in the stand-up comedy world here in Canada. And I chose this particular jersey for Mr. Bryan Hatt because Mr. Bryan Hatt happens to be one of the most relaxed, chill comedians that I have encountered in my 25-year career. And this jersey just fits and aligns with him perfectly. What is the jersey, you might ask? Well, normally I would show you the jersey from the Geeky Jerseys website, but because this is a jersey that has not yet been released, that's right, I'm the only person that has one. It has not been launched yet. Geeky Jerseys has sent me this jersey, and I think it is perfect for my guest this week, Mr. Bryan Hatt. I'm gonna have to stand up and show it to you because it's not on the website. This is from... That's right. That's the dude from the Big Lebowski. That's right. White Russians and all. See the little White Russian on the sleeve? Yeah. See the dude abides and the bowling icon. If you're a fan of the show, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. But my guest today, Mr. Bryan Hatt, he aligns perfectly with this jersey because he's just so chill, man. And without much more blah, blah, blahing, let's go into the show.
No, I guess I could just swing it over here. And look, this is my fucking laptop over there, which I was like, I'll just do it on that. Plug it in. It was updating. It's been about 45 minutes. It's still updating. So that's why I'm on my fucking phone right now.
What? That is hilarious.
Technology hates me. Yeah. So we're gonna do it like this, I guess.
Well, dude, that you see, all right. Let me tell you what. Okay, let me start here. All right.
Yes.
I do this podcast. The podcast is called the HaHa Horde House, right?
Yes.
It's called the HaHa Horde House because we're part of the HaHa Horde. We not only do we provide ha-has, but we're fucking whores to it, right? We like to receive it. Okay.
I put the whore in the horde. Yeah.
But I wear a geeky jersey every time I interview someone for the HaHa Horde House. Now, the funny thing is, and this is why I had to bring it up at the beginning, the jersey that I chose to wear for you, I'm going to show you the front panel. Yes. You tell me what it is.
Okay, that's Jeff Daniels and perhaps his greatest role of all time.
The dude,
the Big Lebowski,
from the Big Lebowski, who notoriously hated technology.
Yeah, well, I get it. I'm entered my old man phase of my life. You know what I mean? Like the kids upset me. The music's a little too loud. The fucking computer can go fuck itself.
Dude, you're not the only one. I
do like the phone though. That's
I'm in that
part. Though.
It's become the umbilical cord to life now, right? We can't do anything without the damn thing. Yeah. But thank goodness for it because we wouldn't be able to talk now. That. Right? Your laptop is updating.
Yeah, we'd still be writing like the olden times. Just putting welcome to Toronto.
Which part of Toronto are you in?
I'm in Parkdale, baby.
Oh, good area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you could get drugs very easy in Parkdale.
awesome, man. Yeah. All I gotta do is call Big Norm. He's over here in like 2 minutes. I mean, is that even his legal name? I think we're okay here.
I don't think so, but I'm sure if you Google Big Norm, you'll find him. That is so hilarious. All right. So you got your Blue Jays on because you're a baseball guy, and I got my hockey jersey on because I'm a geeky guy. All right. So I don't know if I explained to you what I do with this particular podcast. Not only is it for me to connect with other comedians because we've been in lockdown for so damn long. I think I didn't have a beard before we started the lockdown nonsense, and I'm glorious now. But the whole idea behind the HaHa Horde House is because I want to know the origin stories of other comedians. I think even with this long career and being in green rooms with all these comedians, never really, unless you did a road trip, you never really got into how did you get started? Like, what was the thought process that got you on a stage? So let's go back. I know you're gonna have to rough up your memory a little bit, but try your best to figure out what started you off, dude.
Thanks to marijuana, all I can remember is the past. Honestly, like I got the inkling to do stand up. Am I frozen again? Am I fucking out?
No, I'm remembering stuff too.
Oh, okay. Okay. It was literally like my dad had Bill Cosby himself on record. Literally just one afternoon put that on because I didn't even realize it was in the house, living there my whole life. And it was just the funniest thing I ever heard in my life. And being a small town kid, like not having cable or anything like that, I could get JFL on the old bunny ears, the old antenna on top of the roof. Mm-hmm. And that had a big effect on me. And no joking too, it was often the Canadian guys. Like I remember being quite enamored with Mike McDonald in particular, thinking, I love this guy, the only Canadian on the show, and he's always the funniest fucking guy on the show. And so I always had my neighbors thing that I loved to take a swing for theater and chase my other passion, acting. And then the two sort of merged in my second year in acting school. I was good friends with Sam Easton, who in college. He invited me to become a part of a sketch troupe that he was putting together. That was him, myself, a terrific actor named Ennis Esmer, and another great actor by the name of Connor Green.
Another guy that I grew up with. Yeah,
hilarious dude. The whole host of the Toronto show, if you remember that thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, and many other things, many better projects after that.
How old were you at that time?
But so we did that. That was actually I would have been 20 there. And actually, I just realized I skipped a step because I technically did sketch in high school too with my buddy Kurt for my last couple of years in high school.
Okay,
a little two-hander.
Stop there.
We weren't really doing much original stuff.
But stop there. So in high school, you had a bunch of people that you're hanging out with that you kind of had the inkling to do sketch comedy. I guess in high school, you were looking at probably back in the days of In Living Color or SCTV at the very least.
Actually, it goes further back than that. SCTV for sure, because again, I'm the Python fan who kind of did sketch. I mean, Mr. Bean is essentially a one-man show.
Yes.
So I was big fan of that stuff. And I particularly Monty Python. I thought they were quite good.
Oh, still to this day, classics.
Yeah, that's how me and my friend started the duo too. Literally, I found out he had these two huge books that were essentially an anthology of every single sketch they ever wrote, and we would just flip through it as kids and just laugh our asses off. And then, somewhere around my last couple of years of high school, we kind of brought back Coffee House again to date myself. Did you ever do like a coffee house at school? Yeah, where they let bands play and stuff, and talents and stuff. And so we would host it, doing sketches from the book, and occasionally throw in an original one. And I loved it, man. I loved it. It's the first time I felt like that juice, that adrenaline you get from doing comedy. And
yes,
that was it, man, for sure.
That addiction that you get to that rush.
Around, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I was honestly a bit of a shy kid, but after I got that first laugh, it was over after that.
You have a very similar origin story to me, because I started off well, I started off as a costume character, but once I got into costume characters, it kind of branched off into theater. And then another friend of mine, we did sketch comedy, and we hosted shows as characters of sketches. You know, we used to have these two characters, Salt, Prunes, and Tulum. One is bitter, one is sweet. You know what I mean? So we had characters that followed the names of candy, apparently. But when was the genesis of moving from sketch into stand-up? Because Bill Cosby, you listened to the record with your dad. What was the genesis of moving across?
Again, always having it in the back of my mind while I was doing Sam. Again, he knew that I wanted to try it. Was always very encouraging and made a point of making sure that I at least did my first set because he was moving out of town to go back to Vancouver for a while. I made sure that I did my first set before he left. And I did, and I kind of. Again, I was a little hesitant at first, even though the first set went okay. You know, I got a couple of laughs. But eventually, when he left, I decided, you know, he had a show that he was leaving, do the stand-up thing. I should ask him for that show. You know, I'm kind of locked in. That'll force me to keep doing and to that show for about 3 or 4 years, I'd say. And
so you took the responsibility of running the show,
advancing me in my career, like having to host that. Running the show, Jerky Treats. I don't know if you ever stopped by. I can't remember. It was a pretty wild, open show. Like we used to encourage heckling and stuff. Like it was a bit of a gong show without calling it a. We were sort of like Nubian night too.
Yeah. Well,
like if you didn't like what you saw, you were allowed to express. We even had a running gag where because we had this stage that was very high and a ceiling that was very low. And so one of the main heckles you would hear is kick the ceiling. That meant you weren't doing well. And people would shout it until you stopped and then tried to fucking kick the ceiling.
Oh, my God.
And they were merciless.
Oh, my God.
We had some wild times there. It was good times.
I think we all, every comedian has horror stories of shows that they've done where it's like, maybe that wasn't the best arena for comedy. Yeah, what? You remember Kenny's?
What was that? Yes, of course. Yeah. I don't think I ever actually played it, but it was still around when I started, and I went and watched some shows. Yeah, I think I was not brave enough to do that show at the time.
Oh, dude. The horror stories we had of drunk people and playing to drunk people. It was fun. Everybody had to go through it, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hold on.
It toughens you up. I mean, it's no. Oh yeah, I mean, you're gonna get the same shit when you go touring, so you might as well get a taste of it now.
Yes, and we tour in some very small towns that have notorious reputations.
Yes.
Did you ever do Fairview, Alberta?
Yes, I believe I did. That's not even the room I thought you were going to say. Yeah, there's so many terrible choices in that corner of the world, too.
Yeah, Alberta. Yeah.
Slave Lake comes to mind. That's what I couldn't get out of fast enough. Yeah.
And coincidentally, that place burnt down.
Do you remember even
Slave Lake, Alberta, burnt? Yeah. Well, I'm surprised they lasted this long. Yeah.
Yeah. Really. Oh my God. Or the Gladstone. Did you ever play that room back in the day? Down here in Parkdale, actually, Dufferin and Queen.
Did I do that? I think I might have done it once.
No teeth.
Yeah, I think I did it once.
It was insanity. Anyways, the good old days. And for some reason, I stuck with it. I don't know why. For all you be a bunch of weirdos, you're in all these shady places. People throw them.
But yet you have to look at it and admire the tenacity that the ones that stuck around have, because a lot of people get into this game and they quit. You know what I mean? They don't last long. And you know, I'm 25 years deep now. How deep are you?
This is 20 now, or would have been.
What is it about this thing that makes us go, yeah, I'm going to sign up for that? And I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. What is this addiction? Like people who will do cocaine, they talk about chasing the dragon. What are we chasing?
Honestly, it's just a feeling, I think. Like you say, in some ways we are addicts. because I always give the advice to kids, if you don't love it, if you don't actually love it, don't do it. It's just not worth the pain and the agony and the struggle. You have to be 100% in love with it. Like, comedy can't be your side piece. You know, it's got to be your love, your one true love.
I don't know anybody.
It'll ruin you on everything else.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that, because, you know, I don't hang around much of the newer ones, like the open micers.
Sure.
I don't know anybody that doesn't have this addiction, which is such a weird addiction, because the number one thing that people say they never want to do is public speaking. And here we are lining up for public speaking, right? There are people that would rather be lit on fire than speak publicly. And here we are, like, just give me a microphone. I don't care, we're in a pandemic. I could die, you know, sign me up. It's a weird addiction.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. I mean, I miss the feeling. Well, I mean, you can't really discount the literal adrenaline and like dump that you get from a big laugh. You know, the tingly feeling. It's that good. It's therapeutic, and it's also one of the most accessible art forms of any of them, because you literally require no qualification. All you have to be able to do is sign up on Tuesday, and you got a chance at a spot. That's it. In 5 minutes, that's it. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to be great at it, but there's no real prejudice here. I mean, there are, it's absolutely, but I mean, the art form itself doesn't really require anything but you. And that's kind of beautiful in a way. And then if you do, God help you get a laugh, it's the greatest feeling in the world. And I've done some drugs. Nothing compares.
Listen, I tell promoters all the time, don't worry about trying to hire a band and stuff like that. I'm like, put on a comedy show. It is the most affordable way to be able to provide entertainment to people, because all you need is what you already have. You know, a microphone.
Yeah.
You know, every DJ promoter has access to a microphone. So just put a comic in front. They'll do it for chicken wings, right? Unless they have some credits, and then you have to shell out some money. But, you know, there are, I know, accomplished comedians that have credits to their name that still will go up there and do it just for the laughter. Forget the wings, just the laughter. What a weird bunch of people we are.
Yeah. Again, once you've had a taste, you know, there's no going back.
Yeah, I don't think there's professional baseball players who are playing baseball on a Sunday, you know, just for fun, right? They do it and they get paid royally.
No, it's kind of like, yeah. Well, you remember like Jerry Rice, man? Like, Jerry Rice didn't retire from the NFL. He had to be cut because he loved being a football player so much. He couldn't walk away. The Denver Broncos literally had to say, you're not good enough to make our team, which is kind of sad for a Hall of Famer. But I get that level of, you know, that desire, you know, that competition that he's got in him. Like, I'm always looking for the next joke, you know, the next bit. It's
Have you been writing? Have you been writing during the pandemic? Have you been prolific? Because I've gone through depressions. I will jot down an idea, but I have not written. I'm delved into digging deep into the joke. I just jotted it down and I left it alone.
Well, it's funny. In the few times that I've had the opportunity to do stand-up over the last, 14 months, I barely got to any new stuff that I had written, what little I had written, because I was too busy trying to remember my old act. I literally listening to my own album on my phone so I could relearn my act. I had to literally studying my own comedy, which felt weird. I felt like I was ripping myself off. But I would say that the pandemic has been great in that it's given me an opportunity to not think about stand-up for a while. And open up my brain to other things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been, again, getting back to sketch and writing videos and stuff with producer. Sometimes I get writer's block as a stand-up because I literally only been thinking stand-up for, like, I think at one point when I stopped to think about it, it was years and years that I hadn't written a sketch or, a pilot or anything, a script, for as long as I could remember. And so my brain was like literally just burnt out on stand-up.
So the break was good for you.
Yeah, I think it's really great sometimes to exercise. Yes. But now, honestly, that I feel like we're getting close to a place where stand-up might not be far on the horizon. You know what I mean? At least outdoor comedy while the weather's nice. So I feel that hunger, that part of my brain starting to burn again, and it really wants to sit down and start cramming on some new material, which is great because I wasn't sure if I was going to lose that or not.
Yeah, you know what? I hear other comedians talk about the imposter syndrome, right? But certainly the fact that this pandemic forced us to sit down for a while, whether you were doing Zoom shows or not, you had a lot of downtime, right?
Yeah.
It can recharge you. I could see the recharging and the desire for wanting to be back on stage and stuff like that. But I also know that, you know, for myself, going through the pandemic, you're so worried about people getting ill and people dying and, you know, money dwindling in your account, that kind of depression that you could get sucked into. I found it hard to then pick up the pen and say, I'm going to go write a joke.
Yeah. Well,
I'm thinking about my mortgage.
Exactly. Being alone in this apartment too, I made a point of I wasn't going to push. 1 second.
Yeah, man.
And just get some water.
That up.
Yeah. I think I swallowed the roach. You know, I made a point of because the one thing that's not really being talked about a lot for the pandemic is just the mental toll of not having human contact, what that does to people. And so I've been very wary of not putting too much expectation on what I should have accomplished during this time, or, you know, am I wasting my time, or any of these pressures. Anytime I feel too stressed out, I've really tried to make a concerted effort to just stop and take care of myself. Trying to remind myself, listen, there's not a whole lot you can do about the situation you're in right now. So do something to make yourself happy at the very least, and don't try not to worry about the fucking bleakness that is outside the window there. Yeah, if you get into doom scrolling and watching CNN all day, or just flipping through Facebook, you're going to lose your fucking mind, man.
Dude, that is hilarious.
Go crazy.
Doom scrolling. I never heard that terminology before. That's funny. Doom scrolling. I think that's what a lot of people got sucked into, the rabbit hole of doom scrolling. Yeah. I'm glad that now things are
they literally make themselves
Yeah. I was one of those people, right? Because I'm in what would you call the zone. I'm over 50. I'm overweight, not really that healthy. So all the factors that they add up to say, dude, you might be one of those that die. I was like, I had pneumonia twice in my life.
No, I wasn't fucking around with it. Yeah. Over 40, fat, ex-smoker. Fuck you. Put on a mask. I mean, I'm not fucking around, man. Yeah, sure. Think whatever the fuck you want to think, but I got plans over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you put on putting on one of those masks and looking like I had this thing kicking out there. It looked like a 70s bikini and the tufts sticking out the side. It wasn't very attractive. I had to get.
I decided to shave.
Nah, I'm not shaving until this stuff is done. I'm just seeing what could happen. You know, it does look. I have a lot of guys approaching me, talking to me about my beard, so maybe is giving me attention, and I'm happy. But whatever, man.
Yeah, there's a weird brotherhood of beards. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, beards has this big thing
testosterone,
now.
Yeah. Right. Do you put product in it and everything? Are you using the oils and things? I never got too crazy about it, but maybe I should have.
There's a lot that goes into it on a daily basis, not a weekly basis, daily. This bad boy is washed and oiled daily. It makes me feel terrible. I feel like those ladies that are always doing the eyelashes and shit. Some days I wash and wear.
Sure. Yeah. It'd be nice if they had a beard toupee. You know what I mean? Some days, for auditions, it's nice to have a clean shaven. But I like to be able to just pop on the old beard anytime I want. I feel like the ladies respected me more with the beard. I gotta be honest with you.
It did.
And
Initially, I grew it because I wanted a little more respect because I'm older, but I didn't necessarily look older. So I was like, shit, I have gray hair, so might as well grow this out so that people could realize, oh, he's not young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stupid,
makes me think of that old Chuck Berry joke when he had his thing too. Yeah. He's like, I shave this beard off. I go from prisoner to prison bitch. You know what I mean? I need this thing.
Yeah. I actually auditioned for a part in a prison show. And I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I really want to get it because I have to stay at Kingston Penitentiary for, I think it's 2 months.
Yeah, they're doing like a Canadian Oz?
Yes. No, I think it's...
That'd be hilarious. Oops.
Don't drop the soap. No, it's an American production. It's an American production being filmed in Canada. So.
Yeah.
But the glorious thing is when you play a prisoner, right? You're going to be in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a one-day work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And that's what you want. You want a few days work.
Regulations too.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. It's easy. It's like any comic who's not smart enough to learn how to act, I tell you, you think comedy's easy money. Acting's the best. It's wonderful. Ugh. They treat you great. They pay you well. And it's pretend time. It's the best. Yeah, that's why I went to school for it.
Oh, you went to school?
If there's any way I can make that a full-time living, that's the best. That's what I was taking, theater. Yeah, I went and did the whole thing. That's sort of my claim to fame. Yes, I was in class with Rachel McAdams. That was with Sam Easton. Again, Sam Easton always used to brag about coming up.
Wow. So are you... I'm
a qualified actor, if there is such a thing.
So you're actor, obviously. Yes. And you audition and try out. I should ask you about because all I'm doing is background work, right? I should ask you which background people to sign up with, because Toronto is hot right now for filming stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was saying the pandemic's actually been great for the acting career.
Yeah.
I got nothing but to do but sit around and do self-tapes and, Zoom auditions. It's actually a lot of fun.
Well,
again, as far as exercising a different part of the brain, that's great.
You don't. For me, it's glorious because I don't have to drive in. I can send the self-tape in. You know what I mean? Just record yourself at home and it's done. I used to have to drive from Barrie to Toronto, and that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Now the pain in the ass now
any time of day you don't really want to make that.
Yeah, the pain in the ass now is the driving to do the COVID test. That's the pain in the ass has become a pain in the nose. Yeah.
I haven't had to do that yet. How's that feel?
Oh, dude. Woo. You get accustomed to it. The first time it's uncomfortable. The second time it's a chore. The third time it's like old hat. You know what I mean? It's like, all right. Yeah. I know what to expect.
Fourth time, you're just like, just put it in the back door.
Anywhere you want it, baby. Anywhere you want it.
Yeah, exactly. Find a hole. Don't wake me up.
I just wish I could do a home test for that. Like,
I think they are working on that, actually.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. Hilarious.
Well, for like the next phase of kind of like, forget about like opening up, but after that, like little things like home tests, so we never have to lock down again, hopefully that this will just be a seasonal thing like the flu. Do you know what I mean? I can't wait for that. I've heard they got machines that test the air. Like, let's get those things going.
Well, I'm hoping that, from my side, I'm hoping that this vaccine thing, people actually get it. I know there's a lot of...
Please God, yes.
The challenge... Here's what I think the challenge is with the vaccines. One, there's options, right? Which by itself is a problem because when you give people options, they spend the entire time analyzing, deciding. When I was a kid and I had to get like a polio vaccine or whatever it is, you show up to the doctor and you get it. There's no... It's made by Hanna-Barbera. Yeah. You show up, you get your shot, right? Now there are people that are actually shopping to say, I don't want to get the AstraZeneca. I want to get the Pfizer. Or I don't want the German one. I don't want the Russian one. I was like, So there's a lot of people still waiting. I want the
J&J. Yeah, no. I love too that people, the people are fucking suddenly experts on inoculations now. Just like, well, there's a 1 in 10,000 chance I'll get a blood clot. And like, meanwhile, your lady's birth control has a far worse chance of blood clots. But all of a sudden, that doesn't happen.
Which is why Jamaicans haven't gotten that shot yet. Blood clots, right? Like,
exactly.
No.
Yeah, like I've seen the same people doing dirty lines off the back of a toilet. You know what I mean? Like, just get the shit in you, buddy. You're holding a Red Bull right now. Just shut the fuck up.
Just take the needle, bro. Just take the needle
in there. You kind of sound like a pussy.
You want life to come back? Just take the needle, man.
Exactly.
I gotta make my appointment for mine.
Yeah.
I gotta get mine done.
Oh yeah. Oh, you haven't got your first one yet, huh?
Dude, I'm locked into my house. I'm getting ready for this role as a prisoner, so I'm acting like one. I don't leave the house.
Nice. Have you started throwing your shit at people? I hear they do that too.
No.
Like anybody who passes by, a guard, a doctor, just.
But I've become a bit of I ain't gonna lie, I've become a bit of a Zoom snob, because I watch people do Zooms and I'm like, come on, guys, you couldn't find a light. Why does this Zoom look like it's, some,
come on.
some Al Qaeda training
just
video?
Just without wearing pants.
It's like, come on, man, just turn on a light.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm getting LEDs and putting it in the background because
get near a window.
Dude, those YouTubers have an advantage on us, man. They got everything locked in, high-tech camera and lighting and stuff. Oh, we missed the boat, guy. We're catching up. We're playing catch up to these kids.
Right.
Yeah. I
been
want to
a
start
weird
doing
transition,
Twitch.
like, because obviously when we were, we were kind of talking about TikTok too, like,
yes,
whether or not a 42-year-old man is too old to start TikTok, but like everything's moving online these days, and nobody makes it anymore. You go viral, right?
Well, that's listen. I have
but there's still so much of it I don't quite understand.
Well, you never know. I was just saying, my wife works with a guy that went viral because there was a skunk on his street that had its head caught in a Coke can. Sure. And he went and filmed himself taking this can off of a skunk's head. Then all of a sudden, millions of views. He's getting phone calls from all over the world to do little, drops for these new TV stations.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to go viral. So just put out
even
content.
My brother did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a strange thing. It's not even so much the technology of it. It's like, how do I monetize? Because the older we get, the further we get from the demographic that's actually choosing what platform is popular. You know what I mean? Like, it's not 40, 50-year-old guys making this decision. It's literally like 13-year-olds making it because they're the ones with the expendable cash. So now I find myself trying to tap into, like, what do these kids want? And why is it that it can't be longer than 2 minutes? I find myself trying to constantly adapt to what they're doing without sounding like an old fucking fart at the same time.
Well, listen, I'm not trying to adapt per se, right? Because even with doing podcasts and stuff like that, you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, and because he has such a long history in it, he talks about, people coming and telling him, the show that you do, the format should be every 15 minutes, do an ad read, no show longer than an hour. And he says, no, I talk to the people I want to talk to. And I talk his show is 2.5 minimum, 3 hours long, right? He's done shows that are 5 hours long. That's my attitude when I approach this particular aspect of it. I'm going to talk to people I want to talk to, and I don't care about ads, even though now I am considered a brand ambassador for the Geeky Jerseys. They don't pay me to do anything.
Oh, very nice. I
just talked about them a lot that eventually they said, you know what, you want to be our brand ambassador and wear some of our stuff? And I'm like, hell yeah. I kept talking about you for so long. No problem. I'll wear your jerseys, right? But
that's awesome.
Dude, find what you love and do that, right? You're going to do comedy anyway. You already have a sketch-oriented mind, right? Just write the stuff, throw the stuff out there. And the difference between us and stand-up is in stand-up, we're always thinking about the instant gratification on stage. With doing the social media stuff, throw it out there. Don't care about anything else because you're not going to get laughter, right? The thing that we always looked for and worked for, you're not going to get. So just build it, throw it out there, leave it alone.
That's another thing that I've had to change. Like, I find that the kids too, they devour content, like devour. So you can't be too precious with anything. You really do have to just keep pumping it out. Like, don't get too, don't fall in love with it so much that you're not releasing anything. Do you know what I mean? Because you're trying to make it perfect. Just fucking throw it out.
That's my challenge. That's my personal demon is wanting to write because I've always told comics that are coming up, I'm like, if you get something that's a one-liner and you get laughter from it, milk the shit of it. Write tag, take it in a different direction. Who could you bring into the actual joke that might make it funnier? You know what I mean? So my one-liners turn into 7-minute bits at a minimum. So for me, TikTok is a minute long. Instagram stories is 15 to 30 seconds long. It's like, oh my God, how am I going to cram the kind of stuff that I do into that time?
It takes some getting used to for sure. But again, these are good challenges for the brain, keep the old brains fucking young again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you write something for them? Yeah.
Well, it really, like for the longest time, I felt like I couldn't get anything below 5 minutes. But now, all my past videos have been 2 minutes or less, which doesn't seem like much. But for me, it's a bit of an accomplishment to be able to like learn how to edit myself and boil myself down to the essence. You know what I mean?
Dude, that one that I just told you that was friggin' hilarious is friggin' hilarious. What did you name it?
Thank you.
COVID dating. What was the name of it?
Because I had a couple of different titles. One was for your consideration of my elevator pitch for why you should choose me for your post lockdown loving.
Yes, that is hilarious. Your post lockdown loving.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I find that's another thing I learned too. Like naming your videos matters. You really do, because people scroll so fast. You have to say something to grab them. You really have to tease them with the thing, or they won't even hit play. They'll just go right fucking by you. There's so much competition for their time now.
Yeah, but that's why you got to throw stuff out there. And if it's one thing that every YouTuber and Instagram person that I talk to, they talk about, you need to have a regular schedule for your content being released. If it's once a week, once a day, once an hour, whatever it is, it has to be just put it out there.
Yeah, that's the one nice thing that I'm looking for, that sort of loose format. So then that's the great thing about podcasts, why I think they're so popular. It's because you can just sit down and talk. Hey, clip the front, clip the end, throw it online, you're done. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't require a great skill, but it can fill a lot of fucking time. I mean, look, again, to reference Joe Rogan, I think he's around 2,500 episodes or something.
I think it's more than that.
Is it? I might be old. I saw him drop some number with some video of his. It's funny, I don't even listen to his podcast. I see videos of his podcast.
Yeah, like, that's how another thing.
He's monetized it.
Yeah, that's another thing that they discovered, right? If he has a 3-hour chunk of talking to people inside there, let's find a 45 seconds to 5 minutes long, and people put up those clips, and those clips help advertise the 3-hour show that somebody pays attention. I think I found out about geeky jerseys on the Joe Rogan show. I might have.
Advertising works.
There was a paleontologist that was on the Joe Rogan show, and he was wearing a geeky jersey, and it might have been there that I discovered it. Now that I think of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you just made Joe Rogan some money somehow. I don't know how, but I feel like he just got paid.
Hopefully I'm making geeky jerseys some money. I want to make sure that I pay them back for their investment in me.
Yeah. That's one thing in my stand-up career I never got around to doing. I knew a few comics like Jason Rouse and even Russell, I believe, and a couple other guys. If you could just get a little bit of notoriety, Eddie Del Seppi too, and you'd be like, hey, I'm on TV sometimes. Why don't you just give me some clothes and I'll wear them?
Yes.
And a lot of companies will say, yeah, as long as you're not horribly offensive, or in Jason's case, they like it.
Yeah, well, there's a certain company that would align itself with Jason Rouse, right?
Well, he was with Nixon, which was kind of cool with the Skater Kids. So yeah, they don't give a fuck about his terrible jokes, his horrifying jokes.
If it's one thing that we've seen through social media, it's that if you have people that follow you, there's going to be companies of every kind of ilk, right? That would be saying, listen, could you put us in the video? Could you talk about us? Right? Because it does give you, some sort of new eyes and new audience to take a look at your product or your service, right?
Yeah. Honestly, this is how people make decisions now, especially down in Hollywood, because social media gives these producers a very clear sign of what kind of draw you are. Like, they don't have to guess anymore. They can just look at your Instagram profile.
Yes.
I mean, that's it.
Which is a good thing, and is also detrimental as well, right? Because now everybody's competing.
Yeah.
How much
and there's so many
friends
fucking
you got?
awful comedians online that have millions of followers, and they're basically just online comedians. I even hesitate to use that word. Like when I see like who is that poor kid that he was, I don't even know what you want to call it. He was a YouTube comedian, I guess the acceptable term was, and they put him on the New Faces show Just for Laughs.
And he died a horrible death.
And then he started screaming at the crowd because he felt like he was being disrespected. And the stand-up crowd, you know how Montreal is. Montreal knows their stand-up. They're tough.
Well, you went to a stand-up show, dude. You didn't go to a variety show. You went to a stand-up show, and you didn't have any stand-up. So
yeah.
You're going to get crucified,
I blame Josh Glass. He shouldn't have been on that show. He's festival.
There isn't many of them that have made the crossover and been able to have some sort of legitimacy, right? There is one that I've worked with that, he started off just with the Instagram and stuff like that, built up a following, started to do stand-up, had a challenge because he ran into some other people's material, in the YouTube world, doing somebody else's stuff, not a big deal. Doing it in the stand-up world, huge deal. No. But he's selling out theaters now, so he's doing quite well with it.
Oh, damn, good for him, man. Yeah, I mean, all the power to the kids that can do it. But this is all sort of new to me. I used to bring
our generation
a tape recorder.
Yeah, but our generation didn't know about self-promotion.
No, I wish. Yeah, that's one thing I wish I had been taught as a young comic.
Yeah, you had to be dubbed by someone else to be funny. You could never say that you're funny. Kids that grew up on the rap generation, where it's all about bravado, right?
Yeah.
They have a leg up on us old timers, right? Because we were always taught, be humble, right? Be in the background. There's always somebody better than you, right? Write your joke, do your material. And that was it. I think it wasn't until I was like at least 10 years in where I started to say, merchandise? T-shirts? Albums?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the only platform to be seen on as a stand-up when we were starting was literally live or on television.
Live.
Now there's a million different ways to be seen.
So you got to be prepared to make that money, boy. Get that bag. Right?
I'm going for it, buddy. I've learned anything from this pandemic, it's how much I love this and how much I never want to lose it again.
One thing that stuck me with this pandemic is if your entire career is being made from actually performing and they shut down performing, it's a horrible thing to see your bank account and your savings go game over, right? So now I'm like, all right, what do I need to do? Like I've done one album. Right. And everything else is live on stage. I don't have anything recorded. So when that was being played on Sirius XM and stuff like that, getting residual checks was nice. But now I realize it's not just nice, it's necessary. Right. Because you want to still be having ability to earn money, even though you're not performing.
I mean, it's residual income.
Yeah. Well, I should have learned it earlier.
And that's something that we've never gotten as stand-ups. Yeah, well, I mean, it was never really offered to you before. I mean, like down in America, if you do like an HBO special, you not only get paid insanely better, but they have to pay you every single time they play that on Amazon in the United States. Here, you do a comedy now, that's the way to put it, and that's it. You might get $200 every 5 to 10 years after that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, forget about that shit, man.
The contracts here are buyouts, right? I don't know if in the US you get it like that. I don't know of any comedians that have told me about that, but certainly in Canada, it's always a buyout. Here's $1,500 for your, comedy now, and that's it. Don't talk to us again. We're gonna put it on every platform, play it every year, right?
Oh yeah. You're all good.
In perpetuity.
Yeah. I mean, the Netflix deals are probably different because they stream, but
I've heard many good things about. I've heard many good things about Netflix. I know a lot of comedians have told me the thing to do now with Netflix is approach them with a finished product. So a lot of comedians now are funding their own filming of their specials and just walking into Netflix and saying, hey, I have it already done. You don't have to get a camera crew, nothing. How much are you going to pay me for it? And a lot of guys are getting in that manner.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is, again, part of the reason I started making sketches again, because I wanted to teach myself how to edit. And, because it's getting easier and easier to make things on your computer with your phones. Like, I don't have any fancy equipment here outside of a tripod. And you can make pretty decent quality stuff. I mean, who was that Denzel's kid and that Zendaya chick? They made a full movie in an apartment, over the course of the pandemic. Like,
there's some documentaries that are done
do too. I mean, this is the technology I dreamed of when we started.
Yeah. I've seen documentaries that were filmed on iPhone 6s. So you literally, everybody has the ability.
Used to edit his own specials.
Yeah. You literally have the ability to do it.
I'm all
by
for
yourself.
it. I want to start getting into it, man. Yeah.
I've collected some,
especially in Canada too. We rely far too much on the industry.
Well, until there's enough people talking about how to do it by yourself, right? People aren't going to get that seed of inspiration thrown into their head. But because I've kind of heard it, do you follow like Andrew Schultz?
Yes.
Yeah. Andrew Schultz talks a lot about how they've done everything by themselves and they don't want to be aligned. And I mean, just looking at his podcast, they do, what's the name of the Patreon accounts? And they have like $100 and something $1,000 per month coming in for a team of 5 guys or 6 guys. So, $100 and something $1,000 per month is not bad money.
No, I can do that. I'd take $100 a month extra. I'd be grateful for that.
Dude, my eldest kid is the one teaching me about this Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee and coffee.com, where artists can be supported by their fan base on a reoccurring level, or one time, here's some money to literally buy yourself a coffee.
Yeah. Or even like OnlyFans. I know a bunch of comics jumped to that at the beginning of the pandemic, like selling, very specific content to people. And I think that's great. Just another platform for us to make money. Where, again, it used to be just us lining up to audition. And if you're lucky enough to get that handshake, great. Other than that, try again later. I mean, no more of that shit.
I'm so glad I've lived to a stage where I get to see people who have that creativity, whether it be in traditional arts or non-traditional arts, right? Mm-hmm. Have the ability to build up a little bit of a clientele or a fan base and be able to fund themselves and not have to wait for a producer, promoter, TV station, whatever, to validate your creativity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's tough sometimes. Obviously, the powers that be can't see everybody. Do you know what I mean? So great talents is going to be missed. And now it's easier than ever to get yourself noticed.
Yeah.
And that's great.
But that has also spawned people whoring themselves tremendously, even though their creativity or their talent might be this much. The whoring that is being done nowadays is unreal, dog.
Well, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah, I don't,
I had one of my...
It's this sort of perverse quest for fame.
Yeah, I had one of my videos go viral, but it wasn't one of my videos. It was me. It was my content, but it was somebody else in an audience with a camera phone. That I had to say camera phone. That's to tell you how old I am. I say camera phone. Anyway, so they had their phone. They recorded me.
Cellular.
And then they put it out, and it's going viral. Rappers and Hollywood stars have seen it, tagged it, right? And I don't get any sort of credit for it. 1 million hits, but on my channel, it has a couple hundred.
For sure, yeah. That's one of the loopholes we do need to close, though. Like, who was that guy, Fat Jew, that would just take comedians' bits and turn them into memes and then get all the money on Instagram and all the other fucking things for it. It's just like, that stuff makes me want to fucking drag you out into the street.
Well, like, that's what's going on.
I agree with China for chopping off hands all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's what's going on TikTok now. It's people... TikTok gives you the ability to download somebody's video and then post it on your own TikTok, right? Which is sad, because now they download and then they get the views, they get the accreditation, and you still in the background like, I want to make money doing this, right?
And these sites never care, there's never really anything ever done about this. It's just more traffic, the controversy is actually good for business.
Yes.
So, the last thing they want to do is put that fire out until, it becomes unwoke and then all hell goes loose.
So I harassed you a couple nights ago about being able to produce and put out your stuff on TikTok. Have you actually signed up for an account now?
Yes. I know. I did kind of look into it, but now the kind of things I'm hearing now, I'm starting to lean towards no again.
Dude, listen, like I said, you just never know, right? Because there are people that are being discovered every day via TikTok, via Instagram, via Snapchat. Still, I don't even know.
Twitch.
But all these people are getting... You have to throw out content if you have to fish. You have to throw out a worm to be able to fish. You can't be, like they say, you have to buy a ticket to win the lottery. If you don't, can't cry about it.
Yeah. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes. Gretzky. Well, they said that was Gretzky. There was a few people. That was Pele. That was, LeBron. It gets recycled, dog.
Sure,
I don't know.
Yeah. More copyright infringement. That's fine.
I got a T-shirt coming out. I'm putting out. You ever heard of a website called Redbubble?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Redbubble is a site where you've heard of the concept of drop shipping, right?
No.
Okay. Basically, for a person who does like what we do, right? Let's say you have a joke and you have a tagline in that joke that becomes popular, right? You notice people have been saying it or referencing it outside of you performing, right?
Yeah.
Redbubble is a place where you could take that, put it on a T-shirt, but you've never printed a T-shirt. You've just given them the artwork. With that artwork, you can then choose to have it put on coffee mugs, bed sheets, blankets, sweaters, hoodies, whatever. And they will sell it, ship it to that person, and send you your profit.
Oh, that's nice. Like Vistaprint, but they do all the shipping for you.
Exactly. They do all the work for you. So all you have to do is put a link on your website, on your YouTube video, on your Instagram, whatever. Hey, you like that joke? There's a T-shirt for it. Here's the image. It's on Redbubble. And then somebody who likes it goes and buys it. And then money gets put into your PayPal or whatever it is.
That's nice. And what's your catchphrase going to be?
I have one with my ears and my face. And they're not ears, they're leg rests.
Okay.
So that's going on T-shirts and mugs and stuff like that. Yeah. So my head looks like the
kids are going to love it.
Of course, it looks like the MLB, the baseball logo, how you have the silhouette. Sure. So I have the silhouette, red background. They're not ears, they're leg rests. Boom, T-shirt. Because, I do have my
Very nice.
oral fetishes.
Yes, I remember. I remember things.
Yes,
I haven't forgotten
unfortunately,
all
my
the
kids know
stand-up quite
too.
yet.
No, yeah, because they've seen the T-shirt,
I know,
so
yeah.
now they're like, "What's it mean?" Nothing.
Fuck, man, no. I worry about the day my nieces start Googling my name, and you can't control what's out there.
Dude, listen.
Like you said, people film shit and drop it on the internet.
Yeah, and then your kids Google your name.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, I'm slowly trying to, bring them up to speed with what I do. So it's not quite a shock to them.
No, I let them know early. I mean, the shows that I put on, my daughter works the door, right? So she hears all my jokes.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
All of them.
Okay. You got like a Jackson 5 situation going on over there. Okay. You're Joe Jackson and the kids are going to work.
Yeah.
Daddy eats, we all eat.
Yeah, no, listen, so I have 4 kids, right? 3, let me see. So it's 24, 17, 15, and 12, right? The top
right.
3, right? Yeah. They are all into art. So they're doing digital art, traditional art, all artists. So my goal every time that I have a poster to do for a show or design for a T-shirt is to go grab one of the kids and I'm like, yo, I need you to design something for me because I'm trying to keep all the money inside my house. So instead of paying a designer to design something for me, I pay my kids.
Yeah, I'll just get my kid to learn this shit. Yeah.
They just happen to be learning it. I didn't point them and push them in any direction. I'm like, I'm just going to support whatever you want to do. Do what you want to do. I don't care what it is. Because I've seen, right? You and I grew up in a time where you had to have qualifications and college degrees. And now there's people with 7-figure incomes that play video games online. So who am I to tell my kids, here's what I want you to do? Hell no. Do what you want to do. You figure it out. There might be a career there. Yeah. There might be a vocation. You might start something that nobody ever thought of. I'm not going to hold you back. I'm going to be behind you, supporting you, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I try and teach the kids, is try everything. You have the luxury of failing. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's okay if you fall on your ass. It's going to happen lots. So forget about that and just keep moving forward.
But yes, and remember that you fell because that's where humility comes from, right?
Well, and
remembering the failures.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's I always learn much faster through failure.
Listen, if it's one industry that understands and respects failure, it's comics. Because our failure is blatant every single time we're engaged in the doing of our art form. It stands
I mean,
next
I was
to
just saying to somebody, I was just saying, like, even after all these years, I still probably throw out half the jokes I write. Just like, I still probably work with a good 50% failure rate as far as joke writing goes, if not even a little bit higher.
That's a good rate.
Probably maybe even throw out 2 out of every 3 jokes. I think,
that's a fantastic rate.
I don't know anybody who's 1 for 1.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's
There's
only
nobody.
Years of trying.
There's nobody with that rate.
I mean, maybe Chappelle. No.
No, even he would tell you.
Chappelle just seems to open his mouth sometimes, but I know he's secretly practicing in his backyard too. So, he turned his backyard to a goddamn, arena.
He just did a podcast with Rogan, where when he disappeared, everybody thought that he was not partaking in his art form anymore. But that cat was still working, right? He just wasn't doing the big specials and stuff. He was literally jumping into comedy clubs and some bars and just grabbing a mic and doing no advertising, no I'm here. He just show up and go up. And he was doing that for years. So he gathered a lot of material from all those years of not putting it out. So when his stuff did start to come out, everybody's like, he's so prolific. No. He did 12 years of research before he did that 1-hour special that you saw. Right?
Yeah. And he's been doing it forever too. He's got to be 20 to 30 years in himself, because he's
No more. I think he started when he was like 12 or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. His mom had to carry him to clubs.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Mary tells a great story about that on Actor Studio. I have to watch that one again.
Yeah.
Remember that old Inside the Actor Studio when he's young and he's smoking and shit? It's really good.
Of course, dude. Yeah. I've followed that kid from
even back then. You
long
could
time.
tell. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I sometimes go back and forth on which Chappelle I love the most. Like Baby Chappelle or New Chappelle. There's some good things about both of them, frankly.
Yeah, well, you could see the maturity, right? Because the skinny Chappelle, right? The non-swole,
skinny,
Chappelle, you can see the energy, you could see the mischievousness, you could see the the right, right. But then when he got swole, you could see the thinking Chappelle. He's matured. He's become much more of an adult, right? He has his wife. He has his kids.
Yeah.
He has expectations, right? So you could see the genesis of a man becoming more mature. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of like watching, like, we're at that age now where I've watched athletes' entire careers. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen some of their sons even play. Like, it's interesting to get to watch that with a comedian too. Like, I often think about, when we're 70 and 80 and who the next Dave Chappelle is up there. We're all like, well, you should have seen Dave Chappelle back in the day. Nobody touched it. I think he's just going to be one of those guys.
Listen,
now that Cosby's knocked off the old the Wall of Fame,
no, he's still.
This is the first picture up there, dude.
No. And in terms of comics, right? I don't think comics subscribe to the cancel culture thing because I can't say. I'm saying for me, I can separate somebody's work from their. I mean, you could still watch a Woody Allen film and be like, this guy has some real, eyes for talent. Eyes for writing, right? You can listen to Cosby and be like, yo, this cat knew how to hold a crowd, right?
Yeah.
I could separate the Michael Jackson's music from, whatever he was accused of doing on the side, right? I think the older generation, can make that separation. I don't know the younger ones, I don't think can do it.
Yeah, they don't know the music as well. I mean, with Cosby, I sort of go back and forth, like, because he was such a great hero of mine. Like, I try to explain it to people, like, the feeling I had when, it finally became what the man doing. It was sort of like being in love with your dad and then finding out, oh, your dad's like a bank robber or a murderer or something. Just secretly, he's been doing these terrible things the whole time. And it's like watching him go to prison. You're like, what the fuck? I don't understand what's happening. And then, like, I even try and go back and watch the show because like that show, not just the stand-up, but his show, the Cosby Show, is one of the reasons that I'm in love with that medium so much, because I thought it was maybe one of the best sitcoms ever produced. Like, I fell in love with that show, and now I watch it. And it's funny for a second, but then when the music starts going and he starts lecturing one of the kids, I'm just like, you raping motherfucker, keep your mouth shut. How dare you talk to those fucking kids like that? Well, where do you get off?
And for somebody like me, which I hate hypocrisy, to watch him is kind of like the fact that you wanted to teach people about morals.
Yeah. Did you ever hear that Norm Macdonald bit? I love that. Yeah, the hypocrisy.
No.
When his friend's talking to him about Cosby, and he's just like, what? I think the worst part is the hypocrisy. And Norm's just like, really? I would have guessed it's the rape. There's more to it. I probably should remember the whole joke.
It's a good one, though. Yeah.
Very fun.
Oh my God.
It's one of those things like. Everybody said something like it before, but you don't actually stop to think about what you're actually saying. You're like, of course, hypocrisy is not a word, but it's not. Yeah, we all tend to exaggerate sometimes. Like the word hate. I hate the way people use the word hate. I mean, they hate everything. I hate this. I hate that. I was like, I don't really understand. I don't think you understand what real hate is. I mean, like,
yeah, I would say
real hate is what's going on in Palestine right now. That's fucking hate.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say hate is what's going on between those two countries right now. I can't. I'm not religious, right? I walked away from religion like when I was 14 years old. So to look at people that are literally neighbors and they're willing to bomb each other over plots of land that they say that they were by some 2,000-year-old book, right? It said in the book that should be ours. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I got another book that says you're actually mostly African, and we all kind of grew up in this big chunk called Pangea, where none of this shit mattered. You know what I mean? Like, fuck is.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. But
live and let live, man. That's my policy.
This is one of the things where, listen, when I'm from my generation, I'm from a little island in the Caribbean. We barely paid attention to international news when we were kids, right? But as you got older and the world became more and more connected, you started to pay attention to news that was outside of your borders, right?
Yeah.
I don't, in Australia today, forest fires, and I'm like, yo, that's the other side. What the fuck? Is it raining tomorrow? How about that's what I want to know. I want to know what's going on here. Not over there. Listen, let them figure their shit out. I can't help everybody. You know what I mean?
No.
I wish I could help.
Oh, and you can go insane trying to too. It's hard to compartmentalize everything because we have so much information now. We have so much access that it's it just inundates our senses and our ability to like empathize with people and stuff. Like you literally have to be like,
oh no, I could empathize.
I see people screaming like, why aren't we doing anything about this Israeli-Palestine thing? And I think it's honestly it's such a hard it's such a hard thing to just step in the middle of. I mean it's like trying to break up a fist fight. You're going to get punched in the face. There's a good chance, but. And it's sort of like that Canadian politeness. I don't think anybody wants to be the first one to step in. It's somewhere between white guilt and inconvenience.
Canadians are great people, but sometimes the apathy that exists inside of Canada is, I don't know if it's because it's such a cold country. You want to help people because, literally could freeze on the side of the road. I think Alberta has a law that if it's under -40, you have to stop for any cars that are stopped on the road to offer assistance or something like that. So I think being in a climate like this, but I'm also from the Caribbean. And even despite the fact that we're friendly people, we know because of the crime that we have in the country, you stop at your own risk, dog. You do not want to just stop and help somebody. They'll rob your ass, right? It's like, it's different.
No.
Different parts of the world are different.
Yeah, right.
And you got to respect.
You couldn't have a law like that in Baltimore. Yeah. No, I mean,
you got to respect somebody else's.
Different stroke for different folks.
Yeah, but somebody else's, they have to sort out their problems, right? You want to help everybody, but you can't help everybody. Some people have to. There's a wonderful story about a gentleman who was with his kid, and his kid saw a butterfly trying to come out of its cocoon, and the kid went and helped it come out of the cocoon, and the butterfly subsequently died because it has to go through the struggle of breaking out the cocoon, and it actually helps in drying the wings or something like that, which then it's developed in a certain way that it has to do that, right? If you go and you help somebody, they don't build up the tenacity, the perseverance. There's certain things that they must overcome. They must have struggle in life, right? So it's a double-edged sword where I want to help somebody. I want to be the hero. I want to be, altruistic. But at the same token, you could be hurting the people that you're trying to help. I think
and with COVID thrown in there too.
But there's there's a documentary on people that go to help out in Africa and stuff like that, and they give clothes and such forth. But now the African textile companies are suffering because so much clothing is being dumped on them. Their textile industry isn't allowed to flourish and grow and build because they're being dumped on by all of this free stuff from, altruistic, good meaning.
Oh, sure.
But it
they got all those old
damage.
Super Bowl loser T-shirts.
Yeah, it does damage, right? So
yeah.
Nothing doesn't have consequences. Everything has consequences.
No, yeah. There's no altruistic things. It makes me think my mother was teasing me when I play games with my nieces. I don't let them win. And my point to her was, if I let them win, it robs them of the victory when they finally do get that. Then they'll never know the joy of beating me.
Yeah.
And believe me, they've come to relish those times.
Because you learn.
Beating Uncle Brian's a big, wonderful thing.
Yeah, you learn from losing.
Yeah, you can, man. I tell you.
If you win,
appreciate they put in the work. Man.
Yeah, you didn't learn anything if you won.
No, yeah.
Right?
They're smarter kids for it.
Yeah, from losing, you learn how to dig deep. You learn how to recover from adversity, right? So I'm not doing this because I want to, feel good about beating a 6-year-old in basketball, right? I'm doing this because I need you. Yeah.
I'm not dunking on the kid.
Just call me Air Bryan. Right?
That's right, yeah. My grandmother used to do that too. Like, I would learn these shitty little card tricks as a kid and be like, Grandma, look at this magic trick. And she'd just be like, no, you're hiding the card right there. And be like, damn it.
Grandma, you're such a bitch.
Grandma. Yeah. But, same thing.
You got to go through the struggle.
Trying to get me to work harder. Yeah. And she was a fan of magic, to be fair. This is the woman that regularly went to go see David Copperfield. So she knew what good magic was.
Yeah, and she held you to a very high standard.
Guy.
Grandmas are good like that.
Nothing below Penn and Teller in this house. Thank you.
Well, my
my
grandma was a little more rough. She was a little more racist. She used to harass me about my choice in girlfriends.
Pack a little more wallop down there. Oh, yeah.
No, God, yeah. Well,
my other grandma used to chase me around the kitchen because of my rat tail.
Oh.
She hated that thing. And rightfully so.
My grandmother lived in Australia, and Australians are known for their, let's just cut to the chase. They're racist. They're very racist.
Sure. I've heard rumors.
So my grandma had a lot of choice words when she saw I was dating a black girl. What your children gonna look like? She was like, the palace watchers, right? What's that little?
That's funny.
I'm not even gonna say the words that she used.
Okay, my headphones just died.
Oh, there you go. All right, okay.
Bye.
Bryan,
yes.
Seeing that your headphones have died, we'll cut it now. Here's the question I'll ask first, though, is how do the people find Bryan Hatt?
Oh, my God. Just Google me, man. I'm Bryan Hatt on Facebook. No tricks there. Bryan with a Y, I guess, at Bryan Hatt on Twitter, at Bryan_Hatt on Instagram. You can find my content all over the place. Come and check out my site.
And soon to be on TikTok.
Yes, soon to be on TikTok. I'm already on the tick. I'm just downloading the talk now. Any second.
Well, Bryan, thank you very much for being on the HaHa Horde House. I look forward to seeing you when this entire pandemic is done. I will see you in the not too distant future. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you, man. I can't wait. And it's good to see you're doing so well, man. Let that thing keep coming in. I hope you're growing it down low, too, man. I hope you're doing the...
Hardwood floors, bro. Hardwood floors.
Cheers,
bro.